certificate for in commercial cookery, or a diploma or advanced diploma in hospitality. You are the Australian International College students. If you're starting a business course or a leadership and management or a marketing course, then you're a student of New South Wales Business College. The information I'll give you this morning is the same for both colleges. All right, so let's make a start. Now, you all know as well as I do that things changed in our world, and we, as our students, we have a duty of care towards you to make sure that you're well and stay well. So firstly, we want to go through with you some brief information about COVID-19 issues that we have here in Australia and indeed all over the world at the moment. We do hope that all of you are well and safe, and we hope your families back in your home countries are also well and safe too. So COVID-19, as you will know, is a virus and that causes infections of the nose, throat and lungs. And the problem with it can move from one person to another very quickly. And how does it move? Well, if you're in close contact with another person that has the virus, then they can pass it to you easily. When we cough or when we sneeze, small drops come out of our mouths. And if there's another person nearby, that can touch their skin. And if they bring that to their face or mouth, they can get infected. So it is very important that if you know somebody is sick with this virus, that you do not have contact with them. Indeed, you should stay away from everybody if you have been near a person who has had the virus. That's to keep you safe and to keep other people safe. How do you protect yourself? Well, I'm working from home today. My colleague, Chef George, is working from home today, and all of you are at home, I presume. So there's some, this is called one of the things the government wants us to do, that if we can work from home or indeed study from home, that's what we should do. If you have to go out, then there's some basic things you should do reduce the chances of you picking up this nasty virus. And one is obviously washing your hands. What they say is you should wash your hands in warm water with soap for 20 seconds. And 20 seconds is like singing to yourself, happy birthday to you. Sing that song, and when you're finished, that's about 20 seconds. If you cough or you sneeze, make sure you cover your mouth. And if you use a tissue, make sure you put the tissue in the bin immediately. And as we said earlier, stay at home, especially if you're sick. You must stay at home. And that, of course, stops the chances of the virus that you're carrying infecting other people. Every country in the world is using the phrase social distancing. And what it simply means is when you're near other people, then you stay at least 1.5 meters away from the other person. So no shaking hands, no kissing, no hugging for now, I'm afraid. Very important, even if you're out for a walk or for exercise, you keep your distance from other people. So how would you know that you have, or maybe you have the coronavirus? Well, there's some common symptoms. A fever means you have a temperature, you are hotter than you usually are. Usually you have a temperature, we can't sleep very well. If you have a cough or a sore throat, if you have shortness of breath, That means you have difficulty breathing. If you have fatigue, fatigue means you are tired more than you usually would be tired. If you have aches and pains in your muscles, or a headache, or a runny nose, or stuffy nose, these all can be symptoms of COVID-19. Of course, they can also be symptoms of just a cold or a flu. But because of this serious virus, if you have any of those symptoms, then you need to think that I may have the virus, I need to stay home and stay away from other people. So, what do you do if you get sick? Again, you stay at home, except if you need to get medical care. That means going to see a doctor. Stay away from other people and pets in your home. So if you have a pet, if you have a dog at home, and you pet the dog and the dog runs to your friend in another room, well, the virus can move. You need to take care of yourself, sleep, get rest, and stay hydrated. Hydrated means drink a lot of water. Stay in touch with your doctor, and you should call before you go to see a doctor. You should not just go to the doctor's surgery or to a health center. You should call beforehand. If you get seriously ill and you think it's an emergency and you can't breathe, then you call 000. If you can, and you are sick, well, you should not be leaving your house. So avoiding public transport, trains, taxis, and so on, well, you shouldn't be doing that because you are in danger of making other people sick. Most importantly, you would never come to our college if you're sick. That's not because we're special. It's the same thing as not going out, not going to the shops, not going to places where there are other people. And because you are our student, we need to know about you. If you're sick, please call us or send us an email, because we need to make sure you're okay and help you in any way that we can. Okay, now because of these issues, we want you and of course our teachers to be safe. So your classes will be delivered online during term 2. And we will use Zoom just like we're using now for this orientation session. We'll be using it for our online classes. Student services will have sent you a timetable. So you know, for example, when your course will start. For example, if you're doing Diploma of Leadership and Management, maybe your Thursday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So your trainer will be online during that time and will be delivering training for you. Student services have also sent you instructions on how to join Zoom. Well, you won't have a problem with that if you can hear me because you've joined already. Your trainer will tell you the dates that you have to complete assessments. So for example, if the unit you're starting on Monday or Monday week, last 2 weeks, your trainer might say the assessment will be on Friday 2 weeks. Well, then you must do that assessment during the time that the trainer says. The trainer will be on Zoom. If you have any questions about the assessment, you can ask him or her. And when that time is over, then your assessment time has finished. Assessments must be completed under supervised conditions. That means a trainer must be there with you. The best we can do during these times is that the trainer is there for you and sees that you are online in Zoom while you're completing the assessments. So that was some information about COVID-19. Please follow the rules, everybody, and that includes me and our teachers. And if we all do this, then things will get better sooner. Okay, so let's get into the main part of the orientation now. Here is a list of things that we want to talk about today. Now, the Australian government has rules about colleges like Australian International College and New South Wales Business College. Colleges like us must give new students information. Maybe you studied in another college before, you will have heard this information. Maybe you studied in Australian International College or New South Wales Business College before, you will have heard this information before. But we must provide it to all students, and that's why we have this session this morning, and that's why we say that you must attend the orientation. I see a message from somebody saying turn up the volume, so I'm just doing that now. So I've put it up about 25%. I hope that's better. Somebody has said turn on the volume, and the volume is turned on. George, can you hear me?
Yes, Joe. Perfectly.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll continue then. Okay. So it's whoever has sent the message that can't hear, turn up the volume. Lee Lin, I think it may be on your side. Please check the settings on your tablet or mobile or laptop, whatever you're using. All right, let's continue now. So registrations. Some time ago, it was on Wednesday. Time ago, we sent you an email. We asked you to send 4 documents back to us. One was your passport. That was a picture or photo of the photograph page of your passport. There was a new student information form, an LLN test, that's your English skills test, and a form called an AVETMIS form. The AVETMIS form is information we need to give to the government about you. You should have sent those back to us by last Wednesday. If you have not sent them back to us, you must send them back to us. You cannot start your course unless we receive those 4 documents from you. So if you have not sent back to us by Wednesday, you must do so before Monday. Otherwise, we cannot commence you with your course. Your timetable, well, student services, if they have not sent you a timetable already, they will do. If you're a New South Wales Business College student, you should have your timetable by now. If you're an Australian International College student, well, you have 1 more week holiday. You will receive your holiday before, you will receive your timetable before the end of next week. Okay. So you can change your timetable in the first 2 weeks. Changing your timetable means moving from one shift to another. It does not mean I want to change my course. Okay. Very important. If you have studied in Australia before in another college or with one of our 2 colleges, you already have a unique student identifier number. If this is the first time for you to study in Australia, then you must have a USI number. The information we sent you a couple of weeks ago gave you information how to get your USI number. You had to include that USI number on the new student information form. If you have any problems and you still can't get the USI, please contact Student Services. And again, you cannot start your course unless we've got your unique student identifier. Okay, so all of you good people are overseas students and your first language is not English. One of the things every college like us needs to do is to check your English skills. In Australia, we also call those your language literacy and numeracy skills, or LLN skills. So we did send you an LLN test a couple of weeks ago. You should have sent that back to us by last Wednesday. If you have not done that, please do that today. I can still see a message from some students that they cannot hear, and one of my colleagues, Hassan, is replying. Okay, good. So yes, if you haven't sent us back that test, well, please do so today, by the end of the day today. All right, some administration issues that we need to tell you about. If you change your, you've given us your address on the new student information form, you've given us your mobile phone number, and you've given us your email address. If you change any of those details, you must tell us within 7 days. We need that is also one of your student visa conditions. So if you change any of those, please let us know. We will communicate to you by email. In your written agreement, you have agreed that we will send information to you by email. So please check your emails. You have agreed that if we send you an email, you agree that you have seen it within 24 hours. Tuition fees must be paid before you start a term. If for any reason you need a payment plan, please contact Student Services. We know it's a difficult time for everybody, and of course we will help you. Our Student Services team do have arrangements where students can arrange a payment plan rather than paying your term fee in one lump sum. OSHC is Overseas Student Health Cover. One of your student visa conditions is you must have health insurance for all of your student visa. That's just a reminder to you. We can help you get that, or you can organize that yourself, but your student visa says that you must have OSHC or Overseas Student Health Cover. As student ID cards, we normally give those to students in their first week. Because most of you will not be coming to the college, then that won't happen. When we do get up and running again, and we're back to face-to-face teaching, then of course we will have student ID cards ready for you. I do see somebody has a question about OSHC. Please post your question, and my colleague Hassan will give me a list of questions later. Okay, just a reminder of your student visa conditions. The first one, 8104, is that you can work 40 hours per fortnight. A fortnight means 2 weeks. 8105 is you cannot start working until you start your studies. Now, guys, we're aware that many of you work in places like restaurants and cleaning and things like that. And keeping work may be an issue for you at the moment. We are aware of that, and if there's issues for you with regard to payment, the best thing always is to talk to us. Explain your situation, and our student services people will help if they can. Condition 8202, you must meet attendance and course progress requirements. We'll talk about that more later. an 8533 condition we mentioned earlier. If you change your address, email, phone number, you must let us know. Okay. So, because you are an overseas because you are all overseas students, the rule is you must study a full-time course. And a full-time course means 20 hours of study per week. And at our 2 colleges, we teach 16 hours face-to-face and 4 hours of your own study. You must have an attendance no less than 80%. If your attendance is going down, we will email you to let you know there could be a problem. You must maintain course progress. Course progress means you are doing well in your studies. Of course, if you have poor attendance, then you're going to have poor course progress. So remember, we also give you assessments, which measures your course progress. You cannot do an assessment if you haven't done the training. So your trainer will deliver the training for 16 hours face-to-face. You will do some study yourself, and then you have the assessments. If you haven't done the training, then of course you don't have the knowledge or the skills to do the assessment. That's why attendance and course progress are linked together. Now, because you're not coming to the college at the moment, we will monitor your attendance by checking that you're joining Zoom. How do we do that? Well, our IT people know how to do that. So it's not a simple case of you joining Zoom and then going on your phone, then going to your laptop and watching Netflix. We know if there is activity. So please be aware that even though we're delivering online using Zoom, that we do expect you will take part in the training. We do expect you will be asking questions of your trainer, and we will be monitoring your attendance by the way you interact on Zoom. Monitoring attendance. Now, if you're a student from another college, you will know all this from before. Our job is to monitor the attendance of overseas students. If your attendance reaches 90%, then we will send you a letter. If your attendance reaches 85%, then we will send you another letter because we're getting worried about your attendance. If your attendance hits 80% or lower, then we will be sending you a letter to say, we plan on reporting you to immigration for poor attendance. Of course, if there are circumstances that mean you cannot take part, you cannot attend, then we can look at your situation. They're called compelling or compassionate circumstances, and we'll talk about those more later. So you see on this slide that there's a series of 3 letters you will receive if your attendance is not what it should be. So our job is to inform you, to monitor your attendance, to send you warning letters when we think that your attendance is at risk. Remember, if you miss 1 week of class, your attendance drops by 10%. It's 1 week in the year. So it's something you need to watch. So it is actually the law that the college must report you if your attendance reaches 80 or below 80. All right, so monitoring course progress. Course progress means you are successful in your studies as the weeks and months and terms go by. So we say in Australia that when you've finished a unit and you do your assessment and everything's good, we say you're competent or we say you are not yet competent, C or NYC. It's not like when you were at high school, you got 20%, you got 80% or you got 90%. We don't use percents when we're talking about vocational education. And all of you are starting vocational education courses. So you are competent or not yet competent. So of course we monitor your progress by looking at your assessments over the term. And just like attendance, if you have poor course progress, then we send you warning letters. If you have 4 assessments in term 2, for example, and you're not yet competent in 2 of them, that's 50% of them, then we send you a warning letter about your course progress. Then we try to help you. Student services and the academic manager will look at your situation. What's the problem here? How can we help you? Let's give you another chance to get this assessment completed. And after all that, if your course progress does not improve, then there's a second warning letter. We will try to help you again. And if that is not successful, then you receive a letter saying we plan to tell immigration that you've poor course progress. Okay, so that was monitoring your academic progress. Academic progress, again, is one of your student visa conditions. Okay, so just finally on the same topic again. So if you don't follow these student visa conditions, our role as a college for overseas students is to monitor your attendance, monitor your course progress, and try and help you. And if that doesn't work, then we tell you we're going to report you to immigration. We try to help you. We give you an opportunity to make a complaint or an appeal. In other words, you can come to the college and say, please don't report me. I have very good reasons why you should not report me. I want you to listen to my reasons. We look at that and then we make a decision and say, yes, this student has good reasons, or no, these reasons are not real. Therefore, we will continue and we will inform immigration that this student has breached their student visa conditions. And our job then is to cancel your COE, which means you would not be a student of our college anymore. Of course, that would never happen to all you guys because you're such wonderful students. Okay, next thing, plagiarism. Plagiarism is a nice word for cheating. Cheating or plagiarism. And it means that when you're doing your assessments, you copy somebody else's answers and you say, these are my answers. Or you copy and paste from an internet website, especially, and you say, this is my answer. And your trainers, when they're correcting your assessments, can see very quickly and very easily that that's not your work. It's somebody else's work, and they will find you not yet competent. In other words, you will have to do that assessment again. Now, your trainers will be telling you about how you can use, for example, the internet. There is no problem using an internet website to answer a question, but you should write it in your own words and say in your answer that you have, we say you reference the website where you got this information. We all do that. I've done that in my studies over the years. There is no problem in doing that. But when students copy and paste from websites, then that is true plagiarism, and assessors, Your trainers, who are also your assessors, will see it very quickly and they won't find you competent. Okay, so there's a number of words here in the next 4 or 5 slides that are about changing your enrollment. And the first one is called deferral. And a deferral means, for example, you're starting your course on Monday and you want to ask the college to change your start date until the first week in term 3, for example. So you can defer your studies only if your course hasn't started yet or the term hasn't started yet. But you must have compelling and compassionate reasons. What are compelling and compassionate reasons? Well, if you're seriously ill or you have an injury, in other words, you work in the kitchen and you cut your arm off and you need a few weeks to get it back sewn back on. Obviously, we need to see a doctor's letter to see that the reason is real. If, unfortunately, there was a death in your family, either at home or here, a close friend, that's considered to be a compassionate and compelling reason. And the other thing that is included as a compassionate and compelling reason, if there's a major problem in your home country. Now that could mean, for example, there was a cyclone and some people were injured in your family and you're very concerned and you might need to go home for a while. That would be an example of a major problem in your home country. That would be a reason that we would allow you to defer your course. And finally, another compassionate, a compelling or compassionate reason would be a traumatic experience. That's something that's very bad that happened to you. For example, you're working for Uber Eats, you use a motorbike or a bicycle, you get knocked down, and or it doesn't have to be a physical injury. It could be a psychological matter that is causing you a lot of trouble. And of course, in a situation like this, we would need some sort of medical evidence. Finally, if you decide, I want to defer my course, but it's to do with work, well, we will not accept that as a reason. You are on a student visa. Your primary reason to be in Australia is to study. And you are lucky in Australia, unlike other countries, that you have work rights. But your primary reason to be in Australia is to study. So if you want to defer your course because of a work issue, that's not acceptable. If you need to defer, you use a course variation form and you get that from Student Services. Okay, suspension. What's a suspension? A suspension means you take a break in the middle of your studies. So imagine you started the Diploma of Hospitality in January and you want to take a break in June and July and stop your study. That's called a suspension. You can take a suspension up to 12 weeks. But you must, again, have compassionate and compelling reasons, same reasons that we talked about for a deferral. Now, if you take a suspension, you still have to keep up with the work. You still have to do the study and the assessments. There may be extra fees for a suspension. For example, if you had to do an assessment again or your assessments were late, there may be fees in that case. If you want to apply for a suspension, then you ask Student Services for the course variation form. That was a suspension, taking a break in the middle of your studies. A withdrawal. A withdrawal means you want to stop studying completely. Now, again, you can apply for a withdrawal and it can be successful. if you have compassionate reasons to do so. People who withdraw normally need to go home because there are some problems in their home country or with their family at home, so on. If you have not paid your fees up to date, then we will not process your withdrawal application. There is a fee for withdrawal, it's $250. And if you pay that fee, it doesn't guarantee that your application will be approved. We will look at what you've written down on the course variation form. We will look to see are there compassionate and compelling reasons for your request to withdraw. And if there is, we will approve it. So that was a withdrawal. It means you decided, I want to stop studying, and usually it's because you need to go home. Finally, a transfer. A transfer means you want to stop studying in our college and you want to move to another college. One of the rules for overseas students, one of the government rules, is that you cannot change your study in the first 6 months of your course. And I see a spelling mistake. The good students will see it as well. I won't tell you until the end. So if you have 3 courses, for example, I'm studying English, then I'm studying a certificate 4 in commercial cookery, then I'm studying the diploma of hospitality. Your main course or your principal course is the last one, the diploma of hospitality. So in that example, you could not you could not transfer to another college until you had done 6 months of the diploma of hospitality. So again, we will look at the reasons that you want to transfer. There are compassionate, we use compassionate and compelling reasons again when we're looking at your application. All your fees must be paid up to date. And the reason for that, students, is that we've seen a very small number of students, their fees are due, and what they say is, I want to move to another college because they don't want to pay their study fees. And for that reason, we would not look at your transfer request, because the reason the student is asking for the transfer is to avoid paying fees. There is a fee of $250 for a transfer request. You use the course variation form as you do for the other requests, the other types of changes to your enrollment. Okay, now, can we cancel your enrollment? Well, yes, we can. If you breach your student visa conditions, attendance, course progress, then we go through all the process. We try to help you. We send you the warning letters. In the end, if all that doesn't work, we cancel your COE. When we cancel your COE, that means you're no longer a student. And we would only do that after a long process if you have breached your student visa conditions. That's about course progress and attendance. If you breach the student code of conduct, we could cancel your enrollment. Now, if you look at your student handbook, you will see the student code of conduct. And that's about things like, drinking alcohol while you're at the college, using illegal drugs, being rude to other students, or rude or offensive to other students or to your teachers. Obviously, we would not accept that from any student, or indeed from any teacher as well. And if you haven't paid your fees, then that would be another reason where we could cancel your enrollment. Okay. So there are some extra fees that we may charge students. If you do not pay your tuition fees on time, there may be a fee. Assessment no-show fee. Well, your trainers will tell you the date of your assessment. For example, if you're starting to study on Monday and you have a unit that lasts 3 weeks, your trainer will tell you your assessment will be on Thursday and Friday of week 3. You must be online when you're completing the assessment between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. on the Thursday, assessment part 1, and 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. Is assessment part 2. If you do not complete your assessment during those times, we call you an assessment no-show student. You didn't show up for the assessment. We call you an assessment no-show student. So we have to organize for you to do the assessment again. We need a trainer to be available to supervise you doing the assessment, and there will be a fee for that. So it's really important when your assessor or your trainer tells you the dates of the assessment, you do the assessments on those dates and times when your assessor is available to you online. Reassessments. Every student has a chance to do an assessment 3 times for free. So if you do an assessment today and you're not yet competent, you can do it 2 more times for free. After that, if you have to do it a 4th time or more, there will be a fee. If you are a student who is studying Certificate 4 in Commercial Cookery, there are higher fees. And the reason for that is if you miss an assessment in the kitchen where you have to cook a chicken, for example, we have to get a trainer in again. We have to buy more food for you to prepare while you are doing the assessment. And that's why we have a higher fee for students who miss practical assessments. Other fees, withdrawal fee, as we said earlier, is $250, late payment fee, credit transfer fee. So if you come to our college today, and you're starting on Monday, and you are studying the Diploma of let's say the Diploma of Leadership and Management, and there are 8 units of study, and you have 2 units done already from another college, then you can use those units. You don't have to do them again with us. You can what's called credit transfer. And there is a fee for that if you're bringing those units from another college. Materials fee for hospitality and business courses, $200. Materials fee for commercial cookery course students, $900. You have paid all that in your fees. Commercial cookery students, obviously the reason your fees are higher is you have to buy a uniform, you have to buy a knife kit, and that's why your fees are higher. Student Code of Conduct, I haven't listed it here, but it's in the student handbook. Obviously there's basic rules we need to follow, so we're all kind and good to each other, and it's how you behave yourself with other students and with other people in the college. Have a look at those. We very rarely get any problem with any students and student conduct, very few. However, we must tell you that it is there, and it's something that you need to know about. Learning resources, well, for we have, because you're studying from home for now, the laptops we have in our rooms, in our classrooms, well, we won't be able to use them for now. But when you do get back to face-to-face, please God, in a couple of months, then they will be available to you. We do have a small library where you can borrow resources, but most of our materials are on a Moodle platform. If you're a new student, then you will have received information from IT or Student Services on how to access Moodle already. So your learning resources are there, your assessments are there, and your trainers will guide you to what parts of the Moodle content to use at any time. Okay, so we do have a student support team. So these are the names of the student support people who are, if you get an email from Student Services, you're getting it from Larissa or Yo-Yo or Noon. We have speakers of a range of different languages to help you if you prefer to speak in your own language. Refund policy, we need to tell you about if you request refund of your fees. This is in the student handbook, the full details of the refund fees, but this is a summary now. If you commence your course, there is no refund. Let's say you start to study on Monday from 9 a.m. on Monday morning, and you ask for a refund, then there is no refund. However, if you ask for a refund up to today, you can apply for a refund. How much the refund will be will depend on the refund policy that you can view in the student handbook. You cannot, if you paid fees to Business College or Australian International College, you cannot transfer those fees. For example, if you decide to go to another college, you cannot transfer those fees. Again, please refer to the student handbook. If you're at the college and we're doing face-to-face, then there are printing facilities. If you need to print something, then of course we can assist you with that. Complaints and appeals. So we talked some time ago about your attendance requirements. We talked about your course progress requirements. We talked about you applying for a suspension, a deferral, a withdrawal, so on. So anytime we make a decision about you as one of our students, you may not be happy with that. A complaint is you're not something that we did that you're not happy with, you can complain about it. An appeal is we have made a decision about you. For example, we have decided we will not allow you to suspend your studies. An appeal is when you want a decision we've made about you changed. So complaint is, oh, my trainer, I don't like him or her because he is bald, he's no hair. And you don't like people with no hair, and you want to make a complaint, and you want a different trainer that has long flowing hair. That would be a complaint. If you get an email from the college and they say, we are going to report you to immigration because of your poor attendance. We tried to help you. Your attendance didn't improve, and that is our decision. You would ask for an appeal. You want to change a decision the college has made about you. So this is our complaints and appeals process. The first thing, we'll go through it quickly. You try and talk to somebody like an academic manager, like Student Services, and try and fix it right away. You can't fix it then. Will you complete a complaints form? Then somebody from Student Services and somebody like me as one of the directors and maybe the academic manager, we sit down, we have a meeting, we look at your you have on your form, and we come up with a decision and say, yes, we accept this student's complaint, or no, we do not. We'll let you know about that. If you're not happy with the decision we made about your complaint, then you can make an appeal. Again, we look at your appeal, we look at the paperwork and what you've written down. We have a meeting with the owners of the college. We make a decision and we let you know. If you're not happy with that decision, then you can go to the Overseas Student Ombudsman, who is a government organization who helps students who are not happy with decisions that colleges have made. So that's our complaints and appeals process. Again, more information in the student handbook. And finally, student services. This is only important if we were doing face-to-face training. If you are an Australian International College student and you're doing commercial cookery, then you will be still coming to our college. And Chef George will talk to you about that shortly. If you are studying any other course, then you will be doing it online via Zoom. However, when things do go back to normal in a couple of months, hopefully, our student services is on the ground floor of 38 College Street. As you probably know, that's the building that has the Hyde Park Plaza Hotel. Our classrooms and one of our commercial kitchens on level 2. Classrooms and our student services is on the ground floor beside a restaurant called MD Thai Restaurant. Okay, that's my part finished for now. Before I hand over to Chef George, who will talk only to students who are completing commercial cookery, I want to look back to see, have we any questions? Now, I'm just looking at the posts here. Hassan, if you have anyone's isolated for me, you can send me a list. I have a question here from, okay, I've only one question. And the question comes from, I feel like a radio host here, from Remy Solel. Remy. So I have a question about OSHC. I'm currently in a 407 visa and will be going on a student visa when that visa expires. How do I go with my OSHC? So, Remy, all student visa holders must have OSHC. I don't know about the 407 visa. When you are applying for your student visa, one of the things, if you have an education agent helping you, then your education agent will know about this. And part of the process in getting your student visa will be setting up OSHC insurance for you. So every education agent will do that for you. If, however, you don't want to use your education agent, or if you're applying for the student visa yourself on your own, you're making the application online yourself, both New South Wales International College and, Australian International College and New South Wales Business College, both of our colleges provide the service of organising OSHC for you. So if you're doing it on your own, then please contact Student Services and they will send you the relevant application form. There is one company that they use that provide OSHC, and they will provide you with all the information. So that appears to be, yes, so Remy says she has an education agent. Ask them, okay, Remy, and if they can't help you, just drop an email to Student Services. Okay, guys, that's me finished now. So The orientation is now shortly going to finish for all students except those students who are starting Certificate 4 in Commercial Cookery. If you are, please stay online as Chef George needs to have a chat with you for about 20 minutes. The only thing left for me to say, and this is very important to us, please remember that we're all going through difficult times and we all have some responsibilities. We need primarily to stay safe ourselves, but you also need to remember that other people around you are important, and you need to, perhaps the way to think about it is, when you go outside, imagine that you've the virus. What would you do to keep other people safe? This is a friend has told me this. So when I'm walking, I imagine I have the virus, I have to be out. What do I do to keep other people safe? The other thing is, please remember that you are our students, and therefore we have an interest and responsibility, and we do care about you. So if at any time there is an issue that you need help with, please do not hesitate to contact Student Services. And if we help you, of course, if we can help you, of course, we will do that. So please stay well and safe. Please study hard, get through your qualifications, and the best of luck. And again, we're here to help you. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining in today.